What's going on, guys? Brian here with BPS Customs. We just got back from our very first event from CES 2019, and that was the Corsair press event. They had 3 major announcements and a couple of cool new products to talk about. We'll take a look at them in a little more depth when we actually go to the Corsair suite, but I wanted to get you guys some information as far as what they talked about and what they're going to be introducing in this coming year. BPS Customs coverage of CES 2019 in Las Vegas is made possible by Be Quiet and their new line of Pure Power 11 power supplies. Partial modularity lets you choose the loadout that best fits your rig, and with options ranging from 500 to 700 watts, Be Quiet has you covered for almost any kind of system. A silence-optimized fan keeps things cool and quiet, and a 5-year warranty will give you peace of mind. Check out the link in the video description to learn more. The first thing that they talked about was their new Slipstream technology. Now, Slipstream is what's actually going to be replacing their current wireless standard for peripherals, so that's keyboards, mice, and headsets. Now, currently what they've been talking about is that their gamer-grade wireless latency experience is 1 millisecond. And what they've actually been able to do is cut that in half to 500 microseconds. So that should basically eliminate any difference between wired and wireless peripherals as long as you're using their new Slipstream technology. Now, what this actually does is, the way they demonstrated it and explained it was that it prioritizes higher speed lanes in the wireless communication. So not only will the protocol allow the communication to be faster, but also less prone to interference if you're in a noisy environment, say like a LAN party or a competitive gaming situation where more than one people might be using the same kind of wireless technology. You're not going to get any kind of interference. It's a little hard to explain, but the way that they tried to demo it for us was by saying that it's kind of like having a car on a highway with multiple lanes. So you're traveling in one lane, and if you see that the lane next to you is actually going faster, the car moves over to get into that faster lane to continue that low latency experience for you. Now, they're going to be introducing these on, like I said, keyboards, mice, and headsets, and they demoed a couple of those products for us today. The first product that they're actually going to be introducing with this Slipstream technology is called the Harpoon RGB Wireless. Now, the Harpoon RGB mouse is actually something that's been out for quite a while. You may have seen it in my What's in My CES bag video. I actually have it with me in that bag right there, is what I edit on when I'm on these trips. But they've taken it, they've made it a wireless solution. They're going to use their new Slipstream technology. Now, they also are going to be introducing further products as we move along in 2019. They were a little coy about what the names of those products were going to be, so we're going to find out as we move forward, but they wanted to introduce an entry-level product using this technology that basically everybody has access to. The Harpoon RGB Wireless is going to be $49.99 with up to 60 hours of battery life. So that's a bold claim. I hope it holds up, but I guess we'll see. They also had 2 more mice that they were showing off, but they were not of the wireless variety. There was the M65 RGB Elite and the Ironclaw RGB, both of which $59.99, should be available probably by the time you watch this. The next major thing they wanted to talk about was a refresh to their Corsair One line of all-in-one gaming desktops. Now, the One has actually been a fairly successful product for them. Debuted back in 2017. I've actually never taken a look at one personally, but a lot of other channels have, and it basically has gotten very high praise for being fairly quiet, fairly cool, and offering a lot of performance in a very small package. Well, they've gone and revamped the entire cooling solution inside the Corsair One, which now is allowing them to introduce the 9th gen Intel desktop parts as well as the new RTX NVIDIA graphics cards. So there are 3 different lines coming out. You have the i140 with a 9700K and an RTX 2080. You have an i160 with a 9900K and an RTX 2080 Ti. And then there's also an i780, which they say is targeting a 9980XE, which is a pretty incredible feat, but they didn't actually show off any systems that were running a 9980XE. Instead, the one that they debuted was coming in gunmetal gray. It has an i9 9920X, which is a 12-core HEDT part, still quad-channel memory, 32 gigs of it, 2080 Ti. And they say that thermals are in line or better than their previous Corsair One gaming solutions, even though we're dealing with a lot more power here. Like I said, they've completely revamped everything. They've put a lot more thought into the ventilation and airflow pathways that are going to allow these processors and graphics chips to stay at reasonable thermal solutions. At least that's what they're claiming. Didn't have a chance to fully demo everything. Like I said, that's probably going to happen later on in the week, but that i9 9920X system is going to retail for $49.99. So likely not the mainstream part that a lot of people might want. However, it's targeted more at content creators. People who are streaming need all that horsepower in a very compact system. The last thing I wanted to talk about was, of course, RGB, as basically everybody here wants to talk about. Corsair has been kind of a leader in RGB implementation back since probably about 2014 when they introduced the K70 keyboard. But now what they're doing is they've removed a component that has restricted the amount of RGBs you can potentially put into any kind of a solution, anything that you want to put it into. Traditionally, RGBs have been mounted on top of a surface-mounted device that is mounted onto the PCB. Now, this has prevented them from being mounted too densely because the SMD takes up a significant amount of space. They've actually been able to completely eliminate the SMD from the equation, mount the LED directly onto the PCB, and now they could fit up to 100 RGB LEDs into the space that you could previously fit 4. This results in up to 40% less power draw and up to a 60% increase in brightness. The first product that they're going to introduce this on is actually a new line of Dominator Platinum memory. So the Dominator Platinum RGB edition is going to feature 12 LEDs per module. It's coming in February of 2019 and speeds of, I believe they said, up to 4866. So not only do these new Capellix RGBs enable a more efficient design, because they're drawing less power, it enables tighter timings on the memory and enables them to be able to release the memories at higher speeds. I can't wait to get my hands on them. They look great on the show floor, and they said they'll be sending them out pretty soon, so hopefully we'll get a chance to take a look at them on the channel. So that's it from the Corsair booth. We're going to have a lot more information later on in the week when we have our hands on this stuff and we can actually bring you better footage of these items. But if you guys have any questions about this stuff, leave them below down in the comments. Get subscribed if you're not already, and stay tuned for more CES 2019 content. Thank you to Electronics for providing our editing systems for CES 2019. Check them out below.